Anyway, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What does a Targaryen do when they need to retake the Seven Kingdoms, but they're in a spot of trouble?
I don't know.
Better Khal Drogo. Hello and welcome to Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 4, Book of the Stranger. And in the last one we had Oathbreaker, where Jon Snow broke his oath and hung a child.
Yeah, we did.
My watch is ended.
It was certainly an episode in which the wheels were spinning. It was honestly one of the most uneventful episodes of Game of Thrones there was.
Yep, and it won't be the last time you'll be saying that about this show.
Oh, boy, will I.
What's that thing where Jake said on the Season 8 review? He's like, another fucking filler episode. And there's only 6 this season.
Not too sure in terms of immediate future. I imagine there'll be something to do with Jon, and they're going to ask, what do you mean your watch is ended? You're alive. He's like, no, but I died. And it's sort of my question with that is that the sort of thing that Jon actually would do? Would he take that as an excuse to leave the wall? I don't know. They have to give a really good justification.
Depends on his rationale. I mean, he wanted to leave the wall.
Exactly.
He wanted to leave the wall in Season 1 because Ned was killed.
That was a good reason for why, but obviously it was talked out of it, and that was convincing.
Yeah.
This Season 6 doing that, I don't know if it has the means to do it in a consistent way.
Instead, it's now like, oh, well, technically, if you read the rules... I don't think Jon is that kind of guy. You know, words matter to him. Mm-hmm. And the meaning behind those words is not just about, like, oh, can I escape the rules via... You know, he's not a lawyer. It's not about escaping the rules by technicality. It's about what is the actual meaning behind the things you say and the things you do. So it all depends on the rationale. Why does he want to leave the wall? That is the question. And on paper, I think that idea has potential. Why does Jon want to utilize this opportunity to leave the wall? He spent all of Season 5 basically telling us why he wants to be at the wall. So why does he not want to be at the wall? Is it because he's scared of the White Walkers, or is it because he wants to take matters into his own hands? Does he want to remain loyal to the cause, but just do it from afar? Because that is a part of it. Maybe he could represent the wall in his own way and their cause, but do so in the south.
I guess we should. It's going to be such a great episode. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's the Eirich.
Oh wow! When was the last time we were there? Like 2 seasons ago? Or?
Season 5, Episode 1.
Ah, okay. So pretty much the start of last season. And that's when they left, and it was. I remember it being weird that they left.
Yes, it was.
And then everything happened that was really bad happened.
Yep.
Boo. Boo. Did they write last episode as well? I think they did.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Right off where it probably should start. I can't wait for the moment where he permanently... Jon has his hair up. Because that's that version Jon. Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, he's done it already. He has. Oh, no.
You called it.
I was just saying. Oh, no. I was like, when that Jon appears, that's when we get, peak Jon Snow. And it's literally the scene I bring it up. But you've killed the traitors. All 4 of them. This scene should be good. It should be good, right, Connor?
It certainly has good music.
Yeah. So remember how tough it was? Wasn't there like a whole thing of people trying to get to the wall and it took ages and it was like really tough? And they've managed to do it in like, what, 4 episodes?
Yeah. Not impossible. In this
No, it's just you expect that to be a bit more trouble.
Yeah, Stannis died because of the weather, remember?
Exactly.
Oh,
Bloody hell, they have not
huge.
seen each other since... Yeah, they haven't seen each other since the first episode of the whole show.
That's right.
So, like, this legitimately is meaningful.
Yeah.
He came at just the right time as well. He's only just come back to life. I guess I would expect half for her to, like, break down, you know, with how much shit she's gone through.
Both of them.
Forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive.
Forgive me.
All right. All right, I forgive you.
That was okay. It wasn't great back and forth banter.
There's only one place we can go. Home.
So they just kind of brushed that aside then, that whole discussion that he died.
I want you to help me. But I'll do it myself if I have to.
My lady?
Yeah, no discussion about being stabbed.
Nothing. And they just said, oh yeah, she knows. So weird. She's accepting me to believe that she's just, like, fine with it.
Forgive me, my lady. I'd have thought that was Stannis.
Oh my god, they're actually talking about it.
No.
Or not. Fucking god! The fucking show! Fucking... Ugh. Okay, they are talking about it. Fucking Jesus Christ. I was about to lose my fucking mind.
What happened to the princess?
I saw what happened.
Should have asked that 5 episodes ago.
I was Kingsguard to Renly Baratheon. Before Renly was assassinated with blood magic.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
I mean, that was in character for Brienne, even if she did
Yeah.
teleport.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, I haven't seen him since the first episode of the season, right? Or
Since the first
even
episode of
more?
last season.
Ah, okay.
Still useless.
Yep.
Still a Slovene.
Yeah. I assume this is Littlefinger.
The defender of the Vale.
Aha!
Uncle Peter.
Oh, his balls have dropped.
Uncle Peter!
My lord. Come and see.
Such a bond they have that we haven't seen.
The Stark home with you to the fingers.
Indeed I was.
And yet,
Thank you.
Should we throw him through the moon door?
Oh. Is this the end for him? That's a shame, because I like him. He's a good actor.
I bring good news. My friends in the north tell me Sansa has escaped Winterfell. I expect she's headed to Castle Black.
Oh, lucky that.
As Lord Commander. She won't be
Your
safe.
plan worked expertly well, Littlefinger.
Bolton's after her.
Cousin.
I mean, if he had sent someone in there to take her out, that would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Our Lord has spoken.
You know, say a Wyman Mandley or a Mansfreder or, you know, a Wildling or something.
Long enough to know.
Not long enough to understand.
Well, we know
So-
that slavery is bad.
I bought this top of the
Yes, and so quagas.
But our queen recognizes that she erred by abolishing slavery without providing a new system to replace it. So, here is the queen's proposal.
That's what we do. We acknowledge our bad writing and then make it good writing because we mentioned how bad it was.
Give freedom a chance. See if it doesn't taste every bit as good as what came before.
I guess that was negotiations.
I don't think that plan's going to work very well.
No.
Juhe Silvie vala mera ife thredas. Verdi gelisk ilvi crenuntusi.
Jesus.
Do not use me for your lies.
Those men respect you,
They respect me because they know who I am. They know I am loyal.
as do I.
I am loyal to my queen.
This section's going on quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing a whole seasons of slavery abolishing term negotiations in one episode.
Yeah. Oh, the drama is just so dry.
Yeah, it's like Tyrion's very out of his depth. That's what they're trying to do.
He's meant to be good at this.
I guess they're trying to say, well, it's Marinese politics, so he's not familiar with it.
Why don't you sit and catch your breath?
Get it? He's old.
I don't think you could ride the dragon.
20 years ago, maybe. But our queen chose me. Makes me sad.
Jesus.
That's where they'll have taken her. The temple of the Doshkali.
This better not take, the rest of the season. Because I don't think I could take it. None, no weapons, none at all.
No, it's forbidden.
Is that the smartest idea? Oh. Was that cut on his sleeve always there? Because that would be...
No, that's grayscale.
No. I'm talking about his shirt. I don't know if it's always had a cut there so he could conveniently show the grayscale.
I see.
What bad time for that to be shown.
I assume it's the cut he had before and he just hasn't had it repaired.
Oh, I guess they're just going to do it this episode, I guess. It'll be easy.
Oh, look at that. Dothraki public rape. Although some of it seems to be...
Jesus.
Some of it...
scene.
Some of it looks like it's a bit somewhat consented, I guess.
Yeah, I think she was enjoying it, but, it's not really for me to say. So why did they say they don't bring their weapons?
Because it's forbidden. If they're found with weapons, they'll be executed on the spot.
Right. Quick. Well, you might as well have had weapons now. If you're getting caught so easily.
It might be the difference between being punched and arrested and being executed. Like, you wouldn't get necessarily... I
mean, you've killed them, so, if you get caught anyway now, you're going to be killed anyway.
Not necessarily. It's not a guarantee. Dothraki fight all the time.
He didn't take lessons from,
I mean, to be fair, if they win this fight, the Dothraki might respect them.
I mean, yeah, he also has a weapon.
Oh,
or took his weapon.
Yeah.
Very smart. Well done.
If they find a body with a stab wound, the whole city will be looking for us.
Yeah. There's a difference.
And you'll also find the other person with a snapped neck.
Oh, well, there you go. There goes the stab wound.
I'm just gonna Negan this body. Smash his head in.
This show's being all a bit funny, isn't it?
And as ever, as charismatic. Also, he tried to do the dust in the eyes move, like Clanger in Arcane, and he failed. God, this is so depressing. They fucking smell. This is her newest. I feels like she's always getting new assistants every 3 seasons.
And they're always female.
I guess naturally that, yeah. You don't have to kill her.
We will never get out of face Dothraki.
Like, so extreme already.
Well, he's assuming that she's just going to tell everyone that this is what's happened.
We'll take her with you. She's already an assistant, so...
That's what Daenerys wants to do.
Yeah. She won't, because Daenerys is just so charismatic.
Come, let's go and see him. Your brother.
Oh, he is alive. I thought he was dead.
Just make it stop.
King's Landing is just so good, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's hope they don't ruin it by the end of the season. That's the main fear.
Here to lend my wisdom and my support.
Thank you for your counsel, Grand Maester. That will be all for now.
Your Grace.
Yeah, fuck off. Old man.
The old fart of a man. Just the whole shot.
The Sparrows have many friends in this city. We'll have civil war. Many will die.
Many will die no matter what we do. Better them than us.
King's Landing is like a whole different show.
It generally feels just like a whole different show. Will this finally be good again? I hope so. This is going to be an interesting scene. I can't remember if he knows or not. We were on a roll. 2 scenes for 2. They were actually good. No, I don't think that streak is going to continue.
He's so just cartoonishly funny.
He's written like Sacha Dhawan's master.
He is now, yeah.
And that's not a compliment.
I think I prefer this actor, though.
Oh yeah, he's a better actor.
Mm.
And Sacha Dhawan isn't a bad actor, he's just massively miscast as the master.
I think this guy's a great actor, but he's poorly written. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Like Capaldi is 12. That's not gonna work. Yeah, but he's not like more than your.
Give it a bath first.
Oh, she's so gonna die in this scene. She's so gonna die. She's had a good run.
Who helped them escape? And how she did it.
Yep. Big shocker. I know your game show. And just like that, they brought her back just to kill her off.
Oh, and he's gonna eat the apple with the blood on it because he's so
Because apples, if you eat an apple in a show, you're an arsehole.
Yeah, but he has to drink her blood because he's so evil.
I mean, yeah, that means Rickon's dead. Rickon is also going to be dead. Well,
Rickon's a lot more useful to Ramsay because of his last name.
True, but at the same time, brought them back just to kill them off. You make her very uncomfortable.
It's not a very serious show anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
I'm not Lord Commander anymore.
Jesus Christ, line the fucking mood, please, John. From Ramsay, I've got your brother.
Winterfell is mine, bastard. Come and see. Your
Jeez.
Just more of the same.
No, it's not.
You will watch as my dogs devour your wild little brother.
Loves those dogs.
Prune your eyes from their sockets and let my dogs do the rest. Come and see. Ramsay Bolton, Lord of Winterfell.
Come on, Sansa.
You're the son of the last true Warden of the North. Northern families are loyal. They'll fight for you if you are.
Who does Sansa know who has an army?
A monster has taken out.
Yeah, but they're busy. She's not going to mention the person she's been talking to for the last, 3 seasons? That totally wouldn't be a smart suggestion. Okay. Remember when the Dothraki were, somewhat interesting?
Yeah. Remember when the dialogue was,
1.
It was unique even with subtitles, and now it's just how...
Yeah, season 1, and then no other season after that.
They speak in their own language, but their subtitles are like a drunk Cockney.
Yeah. We talk about fucking and killing and fucking and killing. Wow, that is very, very offensive. Ha 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 ha.
Isn't this out of character? Dothraki is supposed to respect a dead Carl's wife.
No, but Connor, it needs to be funny. We need a good joke about fucking.
Sexism!
She's a woman. This bitch is crazy. What? What? What the? What just? This is so stupid.
She pushed 2 small fire things over.
This is so stupid. Oh my god, that was the most stupidest thing ever.
How is it already, so on fire? It's like it's covered in oil or something.
This show is so stupid. This fucking show. Fuck me.
It's like they're so trying to say she is a dragon, she can breathe the fire.
That generally might be one of the worst scenes in the show. That was so bad.
How is it already so on fire?
How did the
imagine the rest
stony,
of
sandy floor catch fire?
And also imagine if that thing had accidentally fallen over, the entire building would just catch fire.
Yeah, but Connor, it's like season 1. It's like season 1 again. When she burned and then she didn't die. Oh my god, that shot looks so fucking stupid. Oh my god, that was one of the worst endings to an episode I've ever seen.
Bow to the naked woman. Bow to the titties.
It's just... That's how they get their army? This is how she gets her Dothraki army? What an absolute shit show. Their fucking faces!
Best season ever!
Oh my god! That was so shit! That was so shit! I'll give you a preview. It was fucking shit.
Yeah, your initial thoughts on Look at the Stranger.
Okay. Right. Okay. There was 10 minutes, about 13 minutes, 12 minutes of really good stuff, and guess where it was? King's Landing. The rest of the episode,
and
other than one scene,
the Iron Island stuff was alright too.
And the Iron Islands, yep, that was good too. However, the shit at the wall was not as good as it could have been. The scene at Winterfell was terrible because it was fucking stupid, and everything that happened at Marine and
with
Daenerys was generally some of the worst Game of Thrones I have seen. That final scene generally is one of the worst scenes of the show. That was so bad on every level.
I guess we have to believe now that, so if one of those things was to fall over accidentally, it wouldn't burn the same way as when she touches it.
Yeah, but Connor, you're forgetting about the symbolism of it all. You're forgetting that it's like symbolically, it's like her in season 1, but she's even bigger. She's like inflamed with the passion.
She basically Kamehameha the Dothraki, didn't she? It was like Dragon Ball Z,
essentially, and
she fucking pushed. She pushed these, like, I would call them like big candles. She pushed them over, and then the fire like came out as if it came out of a dragon's mouth. That's what it was like.
Yeah, that's the symbolism of it. She's the mother of dragons, you know?
No, but she's not actually a dragon. That's metaphorical. It's not literal.
You're letting your objective misogyny brain take over, Connor.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, that scene was fucking stupid. Oh my god, it was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah, I think what they wanted to do is they wanted to do like you know, the last scene of season 1. They wanted to do that, but on steroids.
That's what I said. It was literally, they did season 1, but on a grander scale. But it was insanely fucking stupid. It's like this is how she gets her army. Like, I guarantee you, this is how she gets the Dothraki army for the rest of the show. And this is the scene that they did. This is what they thought was good enough. This is what they thought was a sensible and smart decision in order for her to get her Dothraki army.
So let's sort of recap this, right? Because she was found at the end of season 5 in the grass, and she was taken to Vaes Dothrak to be part of the Dosh Khaleen. All of the dialogue constitutes of, I want to fuck your silver-haired pink pussy, bitch, and then she burns them. That's the story. And then the women are saying, like, you're gonna stay here forever, you're gonna die here. There is not anything else to that story. It's just, they are misogynist to her, and then she gets an army by setting them on fire somehow.
How do you write a scene like they did with, you know, the High Sparrow and Marjorie? How do you write that really good scene of the High Sparrow talking about, like, the moment that turned him, realistically, after the life that he'd lived after he took over his dad's shop, and then he got greed and all that really good scene and great dialogue and great acting. How do you go from that to the last 5 minutes of this episode that were fucking bonkers and dumb and stupid? How does that happen in the same episode?
Yeah.
How? It's I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. This whole scene was insanely stupid.
Based on the way the dialogue is written, it feels like Dave and Dan put all their eggs in King's Landing's basket, and then the rest of the episode is just a first draft, and it's been like that for like a season and a half. I guess the war was pretty good in season 5 as well, but especially season 6, it just feels like King's Landing is the only part that actually gets effort.
It's literally, other than that and parts of the Iron Islands with Theon, other than probably the beginning of the season, that sort of slowly sort of getting back on track in a meaningful way. Everything else, though, is so deranged, and you're not having scenes that they should have. They completely skipped over anything to do with Jon and Sansa in terms of the actual information that she should know, and she's just like, oh yeah, they just skipped over it, and it doesn't fucking matter, apparently. Him dying doesn't, and coming back to life isn't like, wait, what? How the fuck have you died and come back to life? What? They just address that as if that's fucking normal. And they didn't do anything. They got a letter from Ramsay and that was it. It's like, what is going on?
We're all moving on very quickly, aren't we?
How do people think this is good? How do people think that this is good?
It's very
There's
rushed.
no way. I swear to God, if I find out that people think that last scene was like Oh my god, what a fucking moment. What a moment for this episode.
Oh, that's exactly what people think.
Do people generally think that scene is good?
Yeah, of course they do. They think it's badass. You should go and watch Blindway's reaction to that. They're like, whoa, she's got a whole army.
No.
She's naked in the fire.
No. Because I'm not a cringe little shit.
My positives with the Eastern stuff. I liked the dialogue between Dario and Jorah Mormont about how old he is. That was good. I actually thought that was... I mean, again, it is just harping on the same thing they always talk about, which is who's going to fuck Daenerys? But at least in that case, it actually was well done. What was kind of weird about it is that they traveled all the way there to rescue her. And I guess they did. But then she decided to go back inside to set them all on fire. So she could get the army.
It's like, literally, as we've said, this was season 1, but they decided let's do it on a grander scale, and people will eat this shit up like it's hotcakes. Like, that was so silly. It was so silly. Like, how can I take this shit seriously when she knocks over two, basically just like two fire... Well, I've lost the word for them, but they're like...
They're big candles.
Like fire stands. Big candles, big stands. She knocks them over and the whole fucking thing sets alight in 2 minutes. Are you fucking for real? When the floor is made out of sand like stone shit that doesn't catch fucking fire.
Yeah, it's like, it's not made of, petrol, oil, whatever.
It was like she had, like, secretly doused it in fuel and just lit a match, and then boom, it catches fire. That's how fire works.
It's almost like it was wildfire, actually. If we're talking about Game of Thrones lore, it's like it was wildfire. It was crazy.
This season is so bad. It's so bad. Like, I've just gone on Google and searched up Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 4, and most of the imagery is literally of this scene.
Iconic moment.
What? Daenerys rules Dothrakis. So what? This is how you do it? This is so bad. This is awful.
they all bow to her.
Oh, that was so cringe. It's so cringe.
Remember how at the end of season 1 she said, if any of you want to leave, you can? And some of them left?
No, but she is an amazing queen. She is our queen.
My queen.
She is my queen.
My queen.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get to that later. The fact
that's around the corner. That's a few streets down.
But we've now got ponytail, lack of dialogue, NPC, Jon Snow.
Yeah, my favourite character. My favourite character.
I like how I talked about that at the beginning of the episode, and then as soon as he walked into frame, I could tell instantly he had the hair.
I fought and I lost.
Yeah, they've already began his really shit dialogue.
He just quoted Alison Thornton from the last episode, but this time it doesn't make sense because he's still alive. He's still gonna keep going. And she's like, we gotta do something. No. Like, why does he want to leave Winterfell if he doesn't want to do that?
Oh, God, it's just like...
Sansa's like, I will give you a reason to leave Winterfell, and he's just like, I can't do that. And then it's not until he gets that really nasty letter from Ramsay about, I'm gonna feed your brother to the dogs, and I'm gonna rape your sister, and then all my men rape your sister, and you're gonna suffer and have your eyeballs scooped out. Come and see. It's so cartoonish, isn't it?
Yep.
Also, can this show go like one? Can this show fucking outside of King's Landing in the Iron Islands? Can this fucking show go one scene without telling a joke? Like, it's just too funny now. I can't take it. I understand why some people enjoy the humor, but I just can't take. I can't take the show seriously when it's constantly trying to be funny all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like. They love the whole Tormund perving at Brienne because it's such an idiosyncratic moment, And I noticed you found that funny, and it is, but it's just, there's just an oversaturation of humor, and that's what makes it feel like a normie sort of show, is that it's going for tee-hee over actual stakes. There was one thing I liked with Brienne, though, is that obviously it's referencing a scene I hate, but from her perspective, ignoring the other side of it, she straight up walks up to Melisandre and Davos and tells them what happened. You know, no deception. She just says, "This is what's up, and I'm here now. So you better deal with it." That's like the only.
You better deal with it.
This is the only proper acknowledgement of Stannis that we've had this whole season, outside of a few mentions. They actually had somebody talk about him. How did you feel about? Because a lot of people, when they talk about this episode, they talk about Sansa and Jon reuniting. I think
they did not do enough to really pull on the heartstrings. It was sort of really like basic stuff.
I think the first scene works where they see each other.
I think it's okay. Oh, when they first like see each other like properly, yeah, that's yeah. I was expecting though Sansa to like. I feel like Sansa finally seen Jon after everything that's happened to her, all losing Ned, losing brothers, and everything that she's kind of known. I feel like her just completely breaking down would have been way more like effective in terms of like there's so much that has happened to her since she saw Jon in episode 1 of the entire show. It feels like that's a sort of a moment where a character they just completely lose it because of just everything that's happened to them.
You know, kind
of
like
I feel like just sort of yeah.
Think about like what Theon was like when he went back to the Iron Islands in this episode.
It should be that. It should be that scene. We should, because those are like everything that's happened to Theon. It garners the fact that he's been broken, and Sansa in the same sense, not exactly, but she has been broken in a way because of what happened with Ramsay and everything that's happened to her in King's Landing and everything that's happened since then. Her not breaking down and sort of just going like the normal like I'm sad face and then go for a hug. Acting wise, it's not very satisfying for me personally. I felt she tries to not break down, but she just can't do it because like all that's happened to her floods in her mind and it just comes out, you know.
It's been 5 seasons since she's seen a Stark.
And her, it just feels like that's the sort of moment when you need and maybe the actress can't pull it off. Sophie Turner can't pull that, but I feel like there's been scenes where she has done that. Am I wrong?
Yeah, she has, definitely. She's certainly been upset before. Like, I mean,
but like, yeah,
some of the stuff last season, I wouldn't say the storytelling wasn't great, but she certainly showed a lot of distress.
Yeah, it just feels like this is a scene where, like with Theon, they break down and it really sells that moment of like the amount of shit she's gone through, regardless of if it being good or bad.
There's that scene with her and Tyrion after the Red Wedding. I'll say that.
Yeah, Sophie Turner I don't know if she simply just doesn't have the ability, or they just simply didn't try and write it in that way. I don't know. The problem I have with their interactions is the scene after. I thought it was really basic stuff, like talking about what our life used to be. I wish I could tell myself to stop, don't do it, don't go. But it feels like it should be more about what the fuck has happened since they last saw each other.
Yeah,
and they kind of don't talk about that. If anything, they skip over the important stuff. What happened to Ned? What's happened to Sansa since she's left King's Landing?
They're getting a bit too meta with that dialogue. It
was like very meta.
Yeah,
I was awful. Just admit it. You were occasionally awful. It's like I understand trying to be happy and cheerful and trying to lighten the mood a bit. But I feel like there's so much shit they could
Rob and
talk about.
Catelyn, talk about how Arya's missing. Talk about Bran. Talk about Rickon.
Oh god, they didn't even mention Rob or Catelyn or anything like that.
Or Bran or Arya. None of it.
John mentioned Bran once when he referenced hanging Ollie. That was kind of it. Oh, we don't really make good ale.
Yeah, it's got to be jokes. It has to be jokes, right?
It's like
If there's one scene to not do jokes, it's that one.
I'm fine with one joke to lighten the mood, but the thing that they should be talking about is the fact that he just fucking died.
Well, comedy in a situation of needing levity is fine. What I mean is the problem is that it's the focal point. It shouldn't be the focal point because it's not the important part.
It's like the only line in which he references what happened is saying, "I can't stay here, not after what happened." So they talked about it, but they didn't talk about it because we didn't fucking see it.
So he's going to leave the wall because he was betrayed and he's scared that he'll be killed and betrayed again, right? But he doesn't have an actual plan of what he's going to do when he leaves, which is very anti-Jon Snow. Is this what left him when he was killed? Is this the part of him that's gone as he's lost his purpose? He doesn't have a drive to do anything.
It's not strong enough a reason for him to leave. It's really not. It's not convincing enough.
I mean, that is really one of the stupidest things about it, is that he never talks to Sansa about the fact that he literally died and came back.
He skips over it as if she knows, because they've established that, oh yeah, they talked about it, but off screen, and we don't get Sansa's reaction or even like trying to process that as a thing, and that he's alive.
It turns out that Sansa just knows about what happened at Winterfell after she left as well. What do you think of that?
What part specifically? Like
she knows that Roose Bolton was killed by Ramsay.
How? How does she know that? I did think, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking, how do you actually know that?
It should be more like, I assume that's what happened, as opposed to I know that's what happened. Like her assuming that that's what Ramsay's... her assuming that Ramsay got his plan together, yeah, I can understand that, but her knowing that's the truth...
I don't think they should even be... I feel like they should be really confused. They should be like... But surely he hasn't... Surely Roose Bolton isn't dead. How is that possible? And they'd be like... I don't know what... Maybe we need to find out, or something like that. But good, obviously. I'm not a writer, but something of that, you know.
Or here's another idea: just have Ramsay tell them in the letter that that's what he did.
Yeah, but Ramsay, Roose Bolton was killed by
killed by my enemies. No, but he doesn't have to say that he murdered him. Just say my father died after being killed by my enemies, and Sansa said, "Well, we could interrupt being like, I don't believe that for a second." Or something like that.
But just her knowing is just a problem because she has not been there since the end of last season when Bolton was alive.
Also, Sansa knowing things she shouldn't is not the last time I'll be talking about that this season, but we'll have to wait till later for me to explain that, because Jesus Christ, there's some stuff to address.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, so Ponytail Jon Snow is not... I always talk about it's Ponytail Jon Snow and it's Bearded Tyrion. You're like two of my least favourite characters.
Yeah, so I thought Tyrion was meant to be a decent negotiator.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Meereen. So this is so weird because I think all of the... not obviously Varys had fuck all to do, right? Which is weird because you'd expect...
He didn't even say anything. He didn't even actually have a line.
You'd expect
he kind of disappeared after the scene.
You would expect the Spider to be a negotiator as well, but...
You would assume so.
Characters like Grey Worm and Missandei, those perspectives made sense to me, but it's the Tyrion side of it that I'm like, what's happening? This is so bizarre. And a scene I think I can point to, like, because it was a very long section of explaining a lot of things, but the one moment I can point to that really is the sort of root cause of the whole issue, and this is an issue with the show as a whole, is the sort of the way that you have two different characters saying two different bits of dialogue that are completely in opposite to each other in terms of quality and sensibility. You have Tyrion make a joke about how he understands slavery when he doesn't, and then you have Missandei respond in a more serious tone of not enough to understand. It's like, her line is great, his line is shit. And then it's the same conversation, and it's bizarre. It's such a weird whiplash of one character being written like shit and the other one being written properly. And I can't quite fathom it. It's weird. Also, Tyrion is being portrayed as being out of his depth in Meereen. But I don't think that the way they present it makes him overconfident in his inexperience in the East. I feel like it just makes him look like not a very good negotiator. Because what is his idea here? He's trying to lure the wise masters of Yunkai Astapor and Volantis. But what is his end game here? I mean, he's trying to snuff out the leader of the Harpy, right? Saying, "Oh, you lay off the Harpy. We're not aligned yet. All the same." And so he's interested in who's behind it, I guess. But why is he allowing the 7-year transition period? What is his pragmatic purpose with that? The other problem I had is they did like an entire season's worth of politics in one episode. And they just rushed through it. And a bunch of conversations just take place. And Missandei had her mind changed in one whole episode by Tyrion about, you know, when she said that line of, as a wise man once said, make friends with your enemies, not with your friends, or whatever. It's make peace with your enemies, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But what about what Tyrion said was actually convincing to her? So again,
Nothing.
as I say, the Meereenese slaves, I should say, and the slavers, they were fine. Grey Worm was fine. Missandei, apart from being convinced, was fine. Varys did nothing. Tyrion was terrible. And that is my take on Meereen.
Yeah, that sums up Meereen, as it does pretty much every scene.
Because again, it doesn't make Tyrion look smart. It makes him look really stupid. It makes him look like he's not very good at what he's doing. But he's very confident in what he's doing. I don't know if it's because Peter Dinklage is fed up at this point, but I feel like when Tyrion's trying to be funny these days, he's just annoying. Like, he just pisses me off.
It's just so... It's like, fucking hell, he's like one of the most boring people in the show.
Like, he's such a smug little shit. You know, he's
when
not...
2 seasons ago, he was like one of the most fucking interesting characters.
I saved this city and all your worthless lives.
Yeah, generally, that was a season and a half ago, one of the most interesting characters in the entire show, and not even like a season later, like episodes later, they completely have fucked everything about him.
Yeah.
He's a terrible negotiator, he's not funny, he's insanely annoying, and he's a bumbling buffoon.
Yep. The 2 smartest people in Meereen are the dumbest people in Meereen.
Varys didn't even have a single line in this episode. He was there for one scene and then didn't even follow them.
What Varys did last episode was good with manipulating that girl. That was great. But this episode he did fucking nothing. He didn't talk about what happened. He didn't even talk to Tyrion about what he did the last episode. They didn't
only get one good Varys scene per season. Sorry.
It's interesting when you have like these slaves of Meereen are making these really good points. They seem smarter than Tyrion. Because they're just like, why are you trusting these wise masters when they've chained us for thousands of years? And then Tyrion's basically going, all in good time, all in good time. He's also speaking on behalf of McQueen.
Yeah.
I promise you, she will be back. You have my word. I like the actor who plays Yezanzo Quaggas. He's funny. He's the one that enslaved Tyrion before in season 5. I like him. And then, of course, we saw the return of Razdal Mo Eraz. He was the one from season 3 in Yunkai, if you remember. It's been a while. But it was season 3, episode 8, I think. And she had that little tent outside Yunkai, and he came into her tent. And the dragon hissed at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, of course, Belitio Hainoimen from Volantis. Yeah, I'm done talking about the East. I want to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. Podrick also got no lines.
Yeah, it just was sort of there, unfortunately.
Alright, let's talk about the scene at the Eirich. Littlefinger, Robin Arryn, Young Royce.
Yeah, this was a scene, I guess.
I think the issue I have with it is just the way it's in relation to Littlefinger in season 5. because we're talking about the Sansa thing, and that still makes him look stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was all word I've heard that she escaped.
God.
Benny the Birdie told me that she escaped.
Yep, and I'm sure you expected that, even though her escape was very unlikely, and she had to jump off a very high wall, which, if you think...
destroying the fray.
I think the part of it that I liked was the fact that Littlefinger knows how to play with Robin. He gave him that falcon, which meant that he has power over him. When Jon Royce threatened Littlefinger for betraying the Eyrie, Littlefinger played the game and used Jon Royce's dedication to Jon Arryn's son against him.
How many people knew of my plans with Sansa Stark?
So yeah, him giving Robin the falcon, using that to have power over Jon Royce was the good part of the scene, I think. I liked that.
Yeah. It's actually is like one is like just fixation with the bird and him just looking back and forth with like that the dumb look in his face. It's just it's like
he's a self-absorbed teenager.
Yeah,
and it's like I think we should allow him to live, and he's like, fine, no moon door today. And after all, like a whole season and a half of practice, he still can't hit the target with the bow and arrow.
Do you believe him, Uncle Peter? It's like that. It's like Caden. This is just...
I mean, yeah, as I said, his balls have dropped now.
But yeah, Slovene lives for another day.
Yeah, that is a positive. The Slovene gets to live.
His voice is like, I really like how he talks.
I'm dedicated to you. And your father? I fought beside him on the Trident.
Very good actor.
Yeah. The only Slovene we're missing is Annette Badland.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, she's not in the show, but maybe they'll cast her in House of the Dragon at some point, or one of the other spin-offs.
That would be funny.
Complete the collection. And then the fourth Slovene, the one I forgot about, is the policeman as well. The policeman that goes to Jackie's house.
Well, you also have the Slovene that actually gets into the guy in this show currently, the body before him. I don't know. He wasn't in only one scene. So. Oh
yeah, I forgot about that one. But and obviously let's not forget David Very, the head Slovene, was in season 2 as the High Septon before he was torn apart by the poor people.
get Peter Kay in House of the Dragon.
The Absorbaloff.
The Absorbaloff, is the cousin. Not that swine! I was born on a twin planet! Clom!
Oh, Jesus. No, don't touch me. Don't touch me with the eczema.
I spit on them.
I'm trying to think which part of Westeros would the Absorbaloff be from. I mean, he's not. He's different. I mean, well, that's not Westeros. That's Essos. But yeah, I guess it would be Bravos because it's a free city. But if you think about it, he's a northerner, right? He'd be from
Winterfell.
He'd be from the Last Hearth. He's an Umber. Anyway.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about something good?
Let's talk about Iron Islands first, then we'll save King's Landing for last,
well,
that's always the best.
To be fair, that is good.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. You've already mentioned it. I want to give my thoughts on the Winterfell scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's basically like a comedic skit where Osha comes into the room. Ramsay's cutting an apple. She tries to lure him in with sex like she's done before, grab the knife and stab him, but he had another knife stashed in his clothing.
Yeah.
And stabs her in the neck, wipes the blood, kind of, but uses the same knife, cuts the apple and eats it off the knife.
I'm just sort of looking at the frame. How the fuck did I feel like when you look at the shot with just a normal shot of Ramsay when he's put the knife down, how on earth could she not reach that? But then when you look, when she's riding him, it feels like it's moved like across the table.
She's got small arms, Callum.
It's
she's a wee lassie.
It's like it absolutely has like moved across the table. Like if you get the episode up,
are you trying to tell me that there is a teleporting weapon? That's never happened before.
I swear that's the. I'm just looking at the scene where he puts it down. Like that is not a large table where it's positioned. Like he doesn't even outstretch his arm to put it down.
So you think The Last Jedi is bad because there's one teleporting weapon? What's wrong with you?
Are you really telling me that? I'm gonna send you the screenshot, and you better put it in the edit. I'm making you do more work, but you're really telling me that she wouldn't be able to reach this? Fucking look at this. Are you really telling me that she can't reach that?
Well, she's got little wee arms.
She actually doesn't. They're actually quite long. If you look at... She's actually got quite long arms.
I mean, if she was on his on the other side of him, right? Because isn't her head on the opposite side of the knife when she's like riding him? No.
No.
Okay.
Her head is towards the knife.
I see.
See, that would actually be interesting. Like,
oh my god, I'm writing for them.
Initially, it's not, and then which she can't fucking reach it from the. If you're looking at him as she's looking at him, when she's on the left, she still can't reach it. Then she's moved to the right before she's stabbed. But like, how does she not reach it initially? Like, generally, I don't get how she didn't reach for the knife. It's like it generally seemingly moved. It's like the whole scene was lame anyway. It was like they brought her back just to fucking kill her off like that. Stupid scene, really stupid. Why did you hate it, Connor?
Yeah, and now he's going to use Rickon as bait for John.
Yeah, and then he'll probably die.
But it's the best season ever.
It's actually not. Funny enough.
Even if every episode after this was like a 9 out of 10, it still wouldn't be the best season ever. It's funny because when people talk about why this is the best season ever, they point to specific episodes. And when we get to those episodes, I'll have even more hot takes because I'll be... Instead of shitting on something that people like overlook, I'll be shitting on something people actually mention. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about King's Landing. Marjorie, the High Sparrow, and Loras Tyrell highlighted the episode for me.
Yep, easily. That whole speech she had was really good.
This was straight out of peak era Game of Thrones. Everything about this character, great dialogue, great acting. Jonathan Pryce was amazing. The way he turned his eyes and almost looked at us, the way he was telling the story, and then he looked back at her. Talked about how he had sort of a hedonistic mindset. His father had a shoe shop. He took over. Had desire for money and power. Bought his friends wine and women, looked at the mess the next morning, walked away, never came back, never wore shoes again. Such a great backstory. I loved it. That being used as a almost gaslighting motivation for Marjorie to, get on his side. It doesn't work because Marjorie's still very self-motivated, doesn't fall for it. But him trying to use that against Marjorie to get her to be persuaded is fascinating. And then we get a scene with Marjorie and Loras in the prison where he's just given up. He just wants it to end. He can't fight. And she's losing hope now because her brother seemingly just can't help her. He's so lost. How do they write this? This stuff, which isn't in the books, this is brand new Dave and Dan material, and it's great stuff, and yet the rest of the episode is dog shit. How do they do that?
Terrible.
I don't understand. Explain yourselves. Even the small things like, yes, Septa Unella likes to read the 7-pointed star at people. Like, that was an actual funny joke that was subtle and was really nice. But it didn't destroy the scene. And, the fact that it's the Book of the Stranger, that is the title of the episode, it is sort of this whole thing of read a quote from it, she understands it because it's been read at her. That's very biblical. That's something that happens in the sort of more tyrannical churches, is that you have the Bible thumped on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. You want to talk about this whole scene?
Yeah, just everything about this whole fucking dialogue and sort of his long monologue was just it's so engaging. Everything about it, like the acting is just sublime. And just sort of him talking about like his sort of life before now. And here's the thing, he could be totally fucking making this shit up, which I think is very fascinating. There's always just that unknown element to him that I really enjoy.
Yeah, with the fact that you don't know whether... I mean, I believe it. That's my headcanon. I do believe it, but it could also be false. It's a bit like that scene, remember last season in Bravos, like one of the actual good scenes in Bravos, where the Wave tells Arya about her backstory, and then she says, no, was that truth or a lie?
Yeah, because the way that was like generally a really good scene because of the acting involved.
And he doesn't ask that question, but the acting in the way his eyes aren't looking at Marjorie and he's almost looking at us, or he's looking past us, will say to you, is he being truthful?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get her to see his perspective as a good one. But ultimately, the High Sparrow is a hypocrite. That is the point.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, that speech that Cersei gave to the small council, the very small council, because there wasn't many of them there, about how he wants to replace everything with nothing. It's a thing of, this world is full of sin and it should be abolished. It's fascinating to see Cersei in a position of protagonism, isn't it? I think so. Jaime gets some good lines and the performance is quite good. Do you think maybe, though, that he feels like a bit of a spare part at the moment? Or would you say it's fine?
Which line did you say again?
Just all of it. Just all of it. Like, Jaime came into the small council room and talked to Kevin and Elena. His lines were good, but in relation to Cersei, I just feel like he seems like a bit of a side piece to Cersei as opposed to his own individual.
I would like a scene between them to talk about the current situation.
Yeah. I guess maybe I just always feel weird when Jaime and Cersei aren't in conflict. It just seems strange. Because I've always felt that they're the entire thing that makes the dynamic between them work is that there is conflict. Yeah. And it's never been smooth sailing.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think it's fine. I think because they need to sort out this issue currently.
Yeah.
And it's a goal that they both agree with.
But they don't seem toxic at all. They seem like a functional mum and dad. I guess maybe it's just something I'm not really used to it.
You're not used to it, yeah, but I feel like this is a situation where
maybe I'm slightly biased because at this point in the books, Jaime wants to murder Cersei because she cheated on him with Lancel and Kettle Black and betrayed him. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I talked about that in the season 4 episode 10 review, which was one of my most passionate rants I've done on this channel. Pycelle was really funny in this episode. I liked him.
That scene of him leaving the room was very funny.
Yep.
Super hilarious.
Yep. There's also Tommen confessing secrets to Cersei that he was not supposed to say, but we didn't hear him speak.
Yeah. Feels like that's sort of the first time we've had a moment where a scene that should happen, but they cut away. Feels like that's the first time that's kind of happened, at least from memory.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
but I know that becomes a recurring theme later down the road.
Oh yeah, it does. But in this case, I mean, we did see a conversation between them, so I guess he'd just be repeating old ground, wouldn't he? But then again, that's something that they've done a lot in this show, is repeat things we've already heard, even in this episode. Bloody Jorah Mormont telling Daario Naharis where Daenerys is, why she's there, and what she's doing. Something we know because we've had the Dosh Khaleen woman explain that to Daenerys every episode, over and over and over again. And now Jorah Mormont is telling Daario Naharis the same thing. And yet we can't have Tommen repeat something to his mother so we can see her reaction. Like, I actually want to see Cersei's reaction to this information. Whereas Daario Naharis' reaction to that is just, okay. I like that whole thing of Tommen is actually doing something a bit brave. He is going against the gods to trust his mother. I really liked Olenna and Kevin Lannister. I thought both of them did very well in this scene to show that their stake and their family in this, the whole thing of Olenna will not allow Marjorie to do the Walk of Atonement, and Jaime comes up with the strategy of Mace Tyrell will come in with his army and Kevin Lannister will stand down. Which is an interesting strategy to disarm the Faith Militant. And I also really like the thing of when Jaime was talking to Kevin about Lancel, which is interesting because Cersei slept with Lancel, but we won't talk about that. Because that's not important, is it? But yes, when he mentions Lancel and Kevin's reaction, of course I want my son back. You know, that stuff was actually quite good.
Yeah, it was very good.
I just wish the whole show was that like that, you know?
Part of the show that's taken actually seriously. Everything else is handed kind of like a joke. And then some scenes are handed like they just don't care and will do whatever the fuck they want.
Yep. I like that Yara is suspicious that Theon came at a very convenient time because there's a Kingsmoot about to happen.
Yes, that was very nicely addressed, actually.
But not focusing on the fact that Euron Greyjoy... Well, actually, I mean, to be fair, she doesn't know that he's there. But that's kind of more the truth, is that Euron came at the convenient time because he was the one that committed the murder.
Yep.
And she's suspicious of Theon, when actually that's not who needs to be suspected.
Yeah.
Theon wants Yara on the Salt Throne. Obviously, she's going to have competition. As I said before, only having 2 candidates does downsize the Kingsmoot massively. Like 2 viable candidates. Having only Yara and Euron. It's a lot more interesting when you've got Victarion and Aeron and a bunch of other characters, like, you know, on the other side of the family, like Roderick Harlaw, involved. Bunch of, you know, more sort of public figures. But I guess when you have a show that doesn't have as much time to develop this very admittedly small part of the story, maybe it's a little bit harder to justify it. But we will be having a Kingsmoot, and Euron and Yara seem to be the top candidates. How do you think it's going to go?
I imagine everyone's favourite character will win. You know, I imagine that's what's going to happen. And then that will lead to, you know, what happens with him and all his great scenes going forward.
The Kingsmoot chapter...
very good.
The Kingsmoot chapter in A Feast for Crows is one of my favourite chapters from that book.
Oh, so you're really looking forward to what they do here then, Connor?
I'm looking forward to seeing how they adapt it. Yeah. Seeing if it's anywhere near as good as that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm totally sure it will be.
So let's talk about things that you'll definitely be happy to hear. Book of the Stranger received universal praise from critics, with many citing the reunion of Jon and Sansa and the final scene involving Daenerys Targaryen killing the leaders and the forward moving of the storyline as strong points of the episode. That's what they mentioned, not King's Landing. They mentioned those 2 things.
It's just
They described warm reunions, new alliances, and exquisitely fiery finale as Game of Thrones at its best. So this, you know, that Daenerys scene, they're saying it's Game of Thrones at its best, right?
Oh, totally.
Lived up to the billing.
Did it really? Did it really live up to the billing, or was this like an entire shit show? How was this a 9 out of 10 on IMDb? I'm sorry, but what the fuck? That's actually crazy.
Written by David Benioff and Dan Weiss.
What a piss job.
King's Landing was great. The Eyrie was fine. Pike was pretty good. The Brienne scene was decent. Everything else was shit.
So...
Actually, that's one thing we haven't spoken about. What do you think about Melisandre's now, like, total dedication to Jon Snow as the prince who was promised? I'll replace Stannis as her leader.
Feels very meta. I don't know.
What about the little girl, Shireen?
They actually addressed it, sort of, but only kind of.
Didn't they already do this exact thing at the end of season 5 where he asked about her and then she just walked away?
Mm-hmm.
So she won't confess what happened. Direction by Daniel Sackheim.
Thought the direction was good, other than the last scene, because it was very obnoxious.
Yeah, the spectacle was there, but the way that Emilia Clarke pushes over the big candles looks very lame. And as you said, the knife on the table, that's a big no-no. The direction of the scene where Sansa and Jon reunite is well shot.
It is, yeah.
And I guess whenever they go into the pyramid sort of throne room, it's a very natural scene to get right because of the constant angles they use with that big staircase. It's just a set that invites good cinematography. So, music by Raymond Javadi. The Stark theme was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice to hear it. Always a good time to listen to it when you got a reuniting of Starks.
Yes. So we crack into some music tracks.
Oh, I guess we should. Hopefully it's not anything to do involved with the final scene.
Well, the first song is called Blood of the Dragon.
Ah.
And the second song is called Khaleesi, so yeah. Blood of the Dragon is from the season 5 soundtrack, by the way.
Yes.
Well, that was actually really good. I feel better already.
Yeah, it's just, you know, wish it was something good.
Shining light in this show, Raymond Javadi is.
He is carrying it on his back.
The bad writing can't stop him.
No. No matter how hard they try.
But yes, it had the had the horns of the Targaryen theme. It had the build up. It had the Game of Thrones theme. It's just exactly what it needed to be. Good stuff. Very happy.
Exactly. Yes.
Epic, fun, of its time. Has the right tone. Just good stuff. Like the man is. He just is the guy. And you know what I'm really looking forward to, because I've never actually delved into it. When we get to House of the Dragon, he also did the music for that show as well. And I haven't listened to the scores from that show, and apparently they're also great, because he just can't go wrong. So I'm looking forward to when we delve into the actual music from Hot D, is what they call that show.
Pretty good. It feels like it's suited to that environment very well. Obviously, it's just I wish that the writing served it better, because it deserves it, because the music is so good.
It almost tricks you into thinking that Daenerys is a good character when you hear that music, as opposed to what would have actually been good as she's already a good character, and then the music only enhances that. I mean, she was good in season 1 and bits of season 3, and that's about it.
Yeah.
To be honest. Oh, and I will say, some of the stuff with Hizdahr in season 4 was good as well. With like the children being burnt in the farm with the dragon, like that was actually quite good stuff for her. Season 2 though, ugh, Karth. And then season 5 and season 6. Anyway, the next song is called Khaleesi, and it's from season 6 soundtrack. You know, it's difficult with that one because I can't separate the scene in my mind from it. All I can visualize is that last scene, and then the end credits.
It's all you can really think about, really. It's like the association of the music is just.
Damn, the show is so bad now that it's infecting our love of this music.
It's like so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's kind of like whenever I listen to A Duty of Care by Murray Gold. It's a great song, but I always think of Hellbent. Also, that's another thing I haven't mentioned. Theon has no conversation with Yara about the fact that their father died.
Yeah, hopefully they do that in their next scene together, but if not, oof, that's a...
Yeah, there is an opportunity to do it, right?
Big miss.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be the first thing they talk about. Because she can, they can talk about it after, but the fact that it wasn't addressed, I think less so for him, more so for her, the fact that she hasn't said, father's dead, straight away. Probably because she doesn't trust him, maybe. But they talked about how there is a king's boot, which means that he has to be dead. People might say, oh, well, Theon didn't like his father. Yeah, it doesn't matter, though. He should still talk about it.
Doesn't matter. That's still an important figure in his life, positively or negatively.
Also, have you noticed that Ramsay said bastard a lot in his letter to Jon? because he's trying to like be the whole thing of because Ramsay's insecure about being a bastard.
Yeah, it's just quick jab insults because I guess because he's unique.
Well, because Ramsay is no longer a Snow; he's now a Bolton by law. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the first ever time Jon and Sansa share dialogue on screen.
Yeah, it's a pretty big moment.
Because they didn't talk in the first episode of season 1. Viewership. So last time it was 7.28 million. This time, with a bit of dyslexia, flip the numbers around, we have 7.82 million, so it's gone up.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone up against the last episode, which, you have to assume, the last episode was so good it gained, 0.6 million back.
Yeah.
After that whole shocking revelation of Jon's back and he's left the wall.
Strange feeling that it's gonna go up next episode due to the seemingly undying love of that final scene.
Due to how amazing and epic and iconic that last scene was. Give your conclusion and rating out of 10 for Book of the Stranger.
Jesus Christ. Other than, again, King's Landing and actually the Iron Islands being actually pretty good, this episode was an absolute disaster. In every sense. We've talked about at length the final scene being as stupid and silly and comedically insane as it was. But this episode also did a lot of things really stupidly. Yeah, this was really bad. Well, honestly, because of how bad that final scene was, I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 10. This was... That final scene wanted to be so badass and meaningful in every way. It did everything but that. It was so funny and so bad and so cringe.
That's your lowest rating so far for this show.
I generally did not like that scene at all, and it feels like it was reaching out in my face and saying, guys, look how cool this is. I really did not like that final scene, and I think all the other scenes I just didn't like either, other than stuff in King's Landing and that scene in the Iron Islands.
King's Landing was really good. The Iron Islands was good. The Eirich scene was decent, for the most part. The Brienne stuff I can tolerate. Everything else can fucking hang itself. Tyrion being a little pest in Meereen pisses me off. It's so annoying. Then you got Jon and Sansa at the wall, not talking about how he died and came back to life, and instead focusing on Ramsay, who has that silly scene where he stabs Osha, even though the knife on the table is closer than it should be. But what really takes the cake, obviously, is Daenerys at Vaes Dothrak with a pitiful, ungodly ending. 3 out of 10. One of the worst. Down there with the ones we've already had. I think there's enough good scenes for me to say this isn't below stuff like Mother's Mercy and the Children and Dance of Dragons and fucking I'm Bowed, I'm Bent, I'm Broken. And some of the episodes we've had this season, like The Red Woman and Home and Oathbreaker, all of them have been bad. We haven't had a single good episode this season. The last one was like a 5. It was okay, but we haven't had a single good episode since Hard Home. Do you think, actually, this is going to be a good prediction. Do you think for the rest of this show there is going to be an episode that will rise above a 5?
At this rate, no. I've got no reason to believe that.
There's an episode, I'm not going to say which one it is, but it is one that we haven't seen yet, that on IMDb has a 9.9. It's like one of the highest rated TV episodes of all time. It's like right up there with, last episode of Breaking Bad and, Blink and that sort of thing. There is an episode that we haven't seen yet that is a 9.9. That was Book of the Stranger. Next time, we're going to hit the halfway point. Season 6, Episode 5. Which is called The Door.
Oh boy. I feel like I know what that is in reference to.
What is your anticipation for The Door?
Well, we didn't have anything in Bravos, and we didn't have a scene with Bran, so I imagine those will be around prominently in the next episode, if I were to hazard a guess. Other than that, I guess maybe stuff on like how Rickon is at the moment, being captured by Ramsay.
Well, obviously, that's Jon and Sansa's future is that, and then you've also got the King's Moot, and then you've got Daenerys escaping via Dothrak. Do you think they're going to spend some time with Rickon Stark, like actually do character work?
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. I've lost my mind.
Are Jon and Sansa going to talk about the fact that he was stabbed to death and came back?
No. They've brushed past that.
Are Davos and Melisandre going to have a proper conversation about Stannis?
You know what? I imagine, other than probably scenes with people at the wall who actually matter in that kind of situation, Jon's hardly ever going to mention he was stabbed and died. I have a weird feeling that that's going to happen. And nothing's going to matter.
How did you get those scars on your chest? Oh, I slipped over. We'll see you next time for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 5, The Door. I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye. Bang.